Well, before he was really crucified, he was sent to Pontius Pilate, according to the historical documentaries that was done. It seems that he went to King Herod, and they was questioning him, and he didn't answer their questions. Then Pilate decides to scourge him, or take a cat of nine tails and whip him. And basically, in the movies, they don't really show how Jesus was really beaten to you couldn't even recognize him. When Jesus was a man, he wasn't really pleasing to the eye. He was basically 5 foot 5 inches, 150 pounds, probably a slim man with a long afro, probably a really long hair, and he had a beard. And at that time, since Jesus was a Jew, he was Jewish descendant, he could not cut his hair or cut his beard. You couldn't do that. Today you probably can. I think in some countries in the Middle East you're not really shouldn't, because you're doing something repetitive, basically kind of remembering your heritage, or basically thinking about tradition. Well, after he got beaten, and since the people said they wanted him crucified, and at one point in time they could release someone, and Barabbas was the person that they released, and they decided to crucify Jesus. And they did put a crown of thorns on his head. And from there in, after everything is done, Jesus had what's called his beam that he was tied to, and the other people would bring their cross, the other piece of the cross, and then all of a sudden he falls down, and they have some ladies that try to wash it or wipe his face, and then they have Simon, I think, if I'm not mistaken, who's some Samaritan, or let's just say it was a Samaritan, that decides to help Jesus with his cross. And all of a sudden, from there on in, he goes to get crucified. He gets his nails, but they put nails in his wrists, not in his hands. If they would put it in his hands, basically, because sometimes if you watch some documentaries or think about it, if they put it in his hands, they would have to put